Any moment now, President Trump will give us details on Trump accounts for kids, which will give the next generation of Americans a jump start on savings. Michael Dell donating $6.25 billion. That's one of the largest philanthropic gifts ever that goes directly to Americans. Here with me now, counselor to the Treasury Secretary, Joe Lavorgna. Joe, what can you tell us about these Trump accounts?
Well, first of all, it's a very important promise that President Trump delivered on, another campaign promise he's met. It's part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, which not only prevented the largest tax hike in history from occurring, it also gave substantial lower middle-class income tax relief through no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, reduced taxes on Social Security. It's all really good stuff. Administration is very thankful for Michael Dell and his wife for making such a generous contribution. It ties in with the President and the Secretary of Treasury's desire to increase financial literacy. Young boys and girls are going to learn the power of compound interest. They're going to learn about the American dream and how you can invest for the future and how you could really maintain that dream. So it's a real novel, innovative approach that the President is going forward with. Do
the math for me. If you max out the account every year, how much will you earn on interest?
So if you take just the pure math, and again, I don't want to supersede or get in front of the President and Secretary on this, but $1,000 over a 65-year period, given an historical return over that time of about 10 and change, 10.7%, that $1,000 turns into $674,000. If the parent or guardian gives their child or someone in the family or employer an extra $10 a month, adding to that 1,000 one-off, that comes out to $1.44 million. So it's really remarkable when you look at compounding interest, long-term returns. You know, it's the American dream that everyday Americans and their children now are going to get. It's very powerful, and it's going to incentivize people to save. And it's just a neat idea.
Financial literacy, and I'm saying this is capitalism.
It's capitalism, and this is something the Treasury Secretary is very, very attuned into. Financial literacy is so important because if you learn how to save, you learn how to invest at an early age. Those are skills. Those are life skills that transcend whatever it is you wind up doing, and it's a way to create wealth in savings in later years.
You wrote an op-ed for Fox News on affordability, and we'll start to see, you were mentioning it, the no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime, that businesses can build a factory right here in the U.S. and write it all off, right? Write all their business investments off.
Right. Well, the Secretary said it best earlier today when he said, look, you want to increase affordability, give people more take-home pay. And you can do that by lowering the taxes they're working. You'll incentivize them when they're working for tips and overtime to work more. They get more labor supply. But also in the bill, because CapEx is fully expensed, companies are going to invest in capital. That extra capital is going to increase their productivity, their profits. In the past, that always flows back to workers in faster jobs, higher wages. The bill also incentivizes the building of structures. Those are going to be high-paying construction jobs. The people working in those factories get paid higher than average wage rates. So think about it. You have a CapEx boom, a factory boom. That's how you increase affordability. And as I mentioned, the no tax on tips and overtime, those are three key pillars of improving people's affordability by giving them higher wages, higher after-tax pay.
When will we feel it, though?
Well, we're starting to see it now. I mean, up until the Democrat-led shutdown, we didn't give a lot of data. You did see one of the fastest gains in blue-collar wages of any administration in the last 60 years. We're seeing the CapEx in the first 2 quarters of the year. CapEx grew nearly 15%. That's the highest in over a decade. We should start to see it soon. We'll see it in the first quarter. Certainly, we're going to get substantial refunds. The withholding changes that people then will make, they'll make those adjustments because they realize they don't have to pay taxes on it. That could be upwards of $200 billion. So as the Secretary said earlier, you're going to see that part of the One Big Beautiful Bill early in Q1. And as the year progresses and economic growth broadens out and deepens, you'll see faster wage growth. You'll see a much stronger economy than what we've had.
Stay tuned, folks,
Stay tuned,
right?
Yeah.
One minor hiccup could be the expected Supreme Court ruling on the legality of the Trump emergency tariffs. Reportedly, those tariffs have brought in about $90 billion so far this year. Costco and a group of other companies are suing the administration. They're saying if the Supreme Court rules that those tariffs are illegal, they want their money back.
Yeah, I mean, there are many companies that are doing this. We are confident. The Secretary was there. He heard the arguments in person. We're confident that the Supreme Court will rule in our favor.
And if it doesn't?
And if it doesn't, there are plans in place to make sure that those tariffs are back in place, because if you want to reindustrialize the U.S. economy then you have to do it in a way that has those tariffs to improve national security by bringing supply chains closer to the U.S. At the same time, you want to create these high-paying jobs. That means capital needs to come in, and you incentivize that capital through low rates, low deregulation, abundant energy, and those tariffs. That's the incentive, the cudgel, if you will, to get capital to come in.
You know, some companies are complaining, some consumers are complaining, but if you look at the 5-day Thanksgiving holiday period, we saw $44+ billion spent online alone. I mean, the consumer seems to be okay.
The consumer is doing better so far this year based on the date of Black Friday relative to last year. On the tariffs, though, I mean, it's important. If you look at the inflation data, the debate now is when are the tariffs, if at all, going to show up, versus what the experts had said months ago, which was, oh, we're going to have inflation from the tariffs. Some companies have raised prices. Many companies haven't. We've seen prices in some cases, like automobiles, actually go down. So I'd argue there really has not been any evident tariff effect at all in the inflation numbers. It's not to say some companies aren't going to complain about it, but again, we think that we're doing what's in the interest of the American economy to reindustrialize, broaden the base, get blue-collar wages booming again, just as what we saw during the first Trump administration, and why the American public overwhelmingly supported this president to deliver on those promises he made before and which he's already delivering on now.
Joe.